when a seeker is on a journey, a lot of things open up for that being. And while there is so much of blossoming, there is also some amount of hesitation, some amount of confusion, some amount of crossroads also that one experiences. And especially in a time and age like today, when there is an absolute overload of information, when there is, what is the right way to do this? Is this the way I should approach the divine, or like this? There is so much stuff happening in the head. What does one do? So to look at the power of seeking, I thought, while we have so many stories from Puranas and Itihasas, why not look at something that's contemporary, closer to our own timeline, so we're able to possibly relate more to that. And for that, we look at a seeker who was is such a phenomenal guru in himself, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. And such a seeker was, as we all know, absolutely madly in love with Kali. One can even say intoxicatedly in love, because that love had no physical boundaries. It was not something that words can define. He identified with Kali as his mother, and he was constantly in communication with her, and that love was just something else, and is something else because it's eternal. However, I think the divine has its own plans in store for a being at some stage, and only the divine knows how to reveal them. And one such beautiful thing that happens in Paramahamsa's own journey is that he continues. As we know, he is the priest in the Dakshineshwar Kali temple, where he is constantly engaging with Kali Ma. And at some point, a certain being finds his way into Paramahamsa's life. This being is fondly called, in Paramahamsa's biography, he refers to him as Nangta. And his name is Swami Totapuri, and Paramahamsa was advised to meet him. But Paramahamsa said, why? I don't have any requirement to meet him. But the force that encouraged him to also kind of pushed him to saying, no, you must meet him, you must spend some time with him. So Paramahamsa and Nangta do spend some amount of quality time together, and at some point Nangta tells him that, look, you need to be able to go beyond a form. You are absolutely in love with Kali, that is amazing, but you need to be able to experience the bliss that is beyond Kali, and is not different from Kali, but it is beyond the form of Kali. There is no difference between that bliss and that form, but to be able to transform or to transgress or go beyond that. Paramahamsa did not relate. He said, why? I'm absolutely in love with this form. The saguna is speaking to me literally. What is the need for me to even look beyond that? But Nangta insisted, and he said, I want you to trust me on this process and experience the formless. So this is saguna, nirguna. So many different concepts are opening themselves out here. Paramahamsa obliges, agrees, and Nangta initiates him. So Paramahamsa sits in dhyanam, and he feels the energy rising within him. And at that point, what Nangta tells him in one particular session is that when you close your eyes and when you see Kali, I want you to be able to, in your mind's eye, take a sword and slash her. Paramahamsa is absolutely infuriated with this. He said, there's no chance I will do it. But Nangta persists, saying, this is the only way. I want you to be able to make that absolute transition, and you need to do this. So every time it happens that Paramahamsa's energy rises till the Bhrumadhyasthanam, till here, at his Agnya Chakram, and that's when he sees Amma, and that's it. He's not able to go beyond that because he's absolutely in love with that form. He cannot see beyond that. So Nangta observes this session after session. This is what is happening, that Paramahamsa in his mind's eye, it's not physically taking a sword. In his mind's eye, he asks him to cut that form. But that form appears, and once that form smiles, that's it. Paramahamsa's, that is a smile that enchants the whole world. Jagan Mohini smile. Paramahamsa doesn't even want to go beyond that. But Nangta persists. And one time he tells him, okay, you sit this time. We're going to do it differently. You sit in dhyanam. When you reach this point, when you see the form, I will cut the form. You don't have to do anything. Paramahamsa agrees. And when he sits like that, he sees again that form. As he reaches his Bhrumadhyasthanam, he sees Kali with all her entire Swarupam of Kali gives him darshan. It's given in great detail in his biography. But at that point, Nangta realizes that again the form is speaking to him. He has to go beyond. So Nangta takes a small little piece of a small metal and just places it here. But in Paramahamsa's state of dhyanam, that cuts the form. And as soon as that form gets cut, it's not a gory activity. It is not a physical form being cut that there should be blood. As soon as he transgresses and goes beyond that, Paramahamsa experiences such an inexplicable bliss and such a downpour of nectar, that he just feels pure, undiluted joy. That Satchidanandam that he experiences, that is something that a seeker that is what is destined for him. That is what Kali wanted him to experience, and Kali wanted him to experience the oneness between the form that is in her form of saguna and her formless, that is nirguna. So this is what we call in Sanskritam as saguna nirguna samanvayam, the identicality between these two. And the power of that kind of seeking from Paramahamsa and the power of the karunyam from the mother came like this. And once he experienced that, he was able to see Kali both in formless, in the form, and in the formless whenever he experienced her. So that beautiful story takes us into the idea of what it is to seek and what does one really seek. There is absolutely nothing wrong in saguna upasana. And similarly, to be able to take that saguna into nirguna, that is something that has a whole world of potential in itself. So I thought therefore it was appropriate to experience and to also experience how Paramahamsa, who was a guru to so many himself, what happened to him under a guru's blessing. So the power of a guru, the power of seeking, the power of compassion, so many different things come out in this particular idea and this particular story that has so much potential for every individual seeker on that path to the divine.